Hey everybody, I'm so glad that you're here for 31 Women. Thank you so much for tuning in. Tonight's guest is Miss Brenda Neiman. She and her husband own the Christian Plumber. We've known each other for such a long time, so I was really glad that she agreed to come on 31 Women tonight and to share her story and some of the things that God is doing in her life. Y'all, I just got home from the Spark conference. It was amazing, and I'm so appreciative of the things that I learned there. I'm so excited about what God is doing, y'all. Everywhere that I look, everywhere that I go, everywhere that I turn, people, it's like a giant has been woken up. I don't know another way to explain it, and it is phenomenal to be a part of and to see and to experience in this day and in this time. So you guys give Brenda a listen, give her a shout out if you know her personally. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe on all of the platforms. And if you would like to be a part of the Bible studies that she has coming out, let us know and we'll make sure that we put you on the list for those. So here we go, 31 Women. Hey everybody, welcome to 31 Women. This is my friend Brenda, and of course I'm Renee. I'm your host for 31 Women, and I have been doing this just over a month now, so I really appreciate you taking the time to come on here. I have known Brenda for many years. We were trying to add up how many, and neither one of us can quite figure that out, so we're just going to say a whole lot. For a long time, we've known each other since our children were teenagers, and we have a lot of children between us. So altogether, between the two of us, there's 8 of them. She has more than I do, but just by two. And so, so Brenda and I met many, many years ago in church, and I'm going to let her share just a little bit about her background and where she comes from, because I don't want to tell more to you guys than she wants you to know. But we have a lot of similarities in our history. So you go ahead and start with where you come from and who you have, the many people you have been in your life.
Let's start. Okay, let's back up. I got married when I was 17. I married the first person that was there because my parents were getting divorced in the middle of my senior year. And I just wanted out. So I married who I married. And we were married for 15 years, and he was in the ministry. He was a pastor. And for 15 years, I served, devoted, loved, had 4 children, wanted to help him be the best person that he could be. And that was my goal in life. I didn't have a goal. I had a goal just for him, to take care of him. And I did that, and come to find out 15 years down the road, there was many affairs in each church and many things that went on that I was so, I don't want to say blinded, I want to say that I was naive to, that I just didn't believe somebody would step in the pulpit, do those things, and preach God's word. But he did. So my whole world was brought down around my ears. I was
With 4 small children.
With 4 small children under 11. And I have to be honest and say I was very, very, very angry that God took away. I felt like then, he didn't, but I felt like then that God took away my ministry and my purpose. And I loved being a pastor's wife. I loved the people. I loved serving. I loved all of it. And I felt like that was taken away from me. So I began just this angry pattern of, I love God, I went to church, but I wouldn't do anything. Like, I was there, I showed up, but that was it.
Okay.
And I went from there. How far do you want me to go?
Well, you tell me what happened next.
Okay, and then after that, I became a single parent. And I went on welfare. I went back to school. I was surviving in survival mode. My kids will tell me a lot of things that happened. I can't remember them. I don't remember everything that happened because of what.
You were in survival mode.
Yes, I was in
So
fight or
you were-
flight,
yes,
and
you
I was just just trying to stay ahead, keep my head above water.
Yeah. And theirs.
Yes.
All at the same
Yes,
time.
yes.
On the raft.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I used to go out on my porch every night and I would pray. I would say, God, send me what I need. Don't send me what I want.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably prayed that for a solid year. And
that's a bold prayer.
It is a bold prayer. But God sent me.
I don't know about y'all, but I want what I want and what I need. I'm just gonna be honest right now. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's
I
fine.
had to just throw that in there. I'm gonna be honest.
Well, and then that point, God sent. Well, let me back up. I had a friend that set me up with somebody on a date, and
Mm-hmm.
she said, we'll all come and pick you up, and we'll do a double date. And I said, no, I'll meet you there at the restaurant because if I don't like him, I'm leaving. Because I was very adamant about what I wanted. I didn't want to date anybody with children.
Yeah, it changes us.
Yeah.
We do change.
I just had all these rules now. And so,
we do change.
and so I met him for dinner, and I liked him. And but I also told him I was not ready for any kind of relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And this would be Johnny Neiman, which a lot of people know. He runs a Christian plumber.
So let me stop you there.
Okay.
Brenda and Johnny run the Christian plumber, and if you're from the Middle Georgia area, you probably have seen their vans because they're all over the place. So Brenda is partial. She won't say that she's partial owner, but it's her husband, so she is partial owner of the Christian plumber. And so we reached out to Brenda to bring her on here, mainly because we've been such friends for a long time, but also because of her story and her testimony that I'm hoping that she'll get to share today. So that's her little plug for the Christian plumber. We just advertised for them. Give them a call. All right. So you met him. You liked him. You had a whole list. I segued away, so I'm trying to bring it back around. You had a whole list of things and rules, and then
I told him I didn't want to see him because I wasn't ready for that kind of relationship. And so for a solid year, maybe a year and a half, he would call me every month and say, you okay? You need anything? Do the kids need anything? Do you want me to bring you anything? And I'm like, and in the whole process, I'm sitting on the porch praying, God, send me what I need, not what I want. And so to round that story out, I feel like God sent me a helicopter, God sent me a boat, God sent me a car, God sent me an airplane. He was always right there. I would just never accept him.
Okay.
So when
you suffered a whole other year and a half that you didn't have to.
I did.
You know, there's a whole sermon in that, but I'm not going to preach it today because we're doing the interview.
Yeah.
All right. So he sent you the boat, the helicopter, the plane, the car.
Yeah. Then I realized that he was what God was sending me. And long story short, we ended up getting married probably a year and a half later.
Mm-hmm.
And he's raised all my kids, and we've had a beautiful life.
Okay.
And
so tell me what you are doing ministry, because once you are in the ministry, you're in it. You just are. It's in your heart. When you really truly have the heart of a minister is truly to serve God's people, and there's no way to get around that. If you have that heart, there's no way to get around it. So the rest of your life you spend seeking God for ways to serve his people because you love them. And so tell me a little bit about how you got. Now I know that you raised your children, and I know that you guys have had many adventures along the way because he was not always the Christian plumber. There were things in between that you guys had done, and I don't know that we have time to do that. But tell me where you are now, ministerial-wise. Not you guys as a whole, but you, Brenda. Tell me what God has laid on your heart.
let me back up just a little bit.
Okay. All right.
So let me say this. I spent the last 20 years hiding behind Johnny.
Okay.
And not developing in my own purpose.
Okay.
Again, I went to support my husband, make sure he succeeded. But in the last 3 years, God has made me see that I need to find my own purpose and
Okay.
my own ministry. Johnny has his, and I need to be independent of that so I can serve people in the ways that the gifts that God has given me.
Wait a minute. Do you mean to tell me that God spoke to you and said you are in a marriage but you need some sort of individuality
I do.
and purpose extraneous of serving your husband?
Yes, because if you do not do that, you feel unheard, you feel unseen, and you feel lost. Because
That's a sermon.
when you don't find your own purpose, and I call my purpose pain to purpose, because everything that I've gone through has brought me to my purpose.
Okay.
And I have found my purpose. I just got to figure out how to develop that purpose.
Okay. So you're in a very beginning stage. I do want to speak on that from pain to purpose just for a moment, because God has really, through some failures of my own, some that were not mine, but He has let me know, and I think it is a resounding cry in the body of Christ right now in this day and in this hour. He does not waste anything. If you are going through something right now and there is pain in your life of any kind, please know that God does not waste that He will turn it around for your good and for His glory. All you have to do is keep putting one foot in front of the other, and He will lead you where He wants you to go with that. I guarantee that. You just keep following Him, because God is a God of creation. He is a God of purpose. He is a God of order. So all of the things that look like chaos all around you, for me personally, I have found that my greatest failures have birthed my greatest testimonies. That He's used the ugliest, just most disgusting bits that you could possibly think of, and He's turned around, and the people that I've been able to reach, and the mercy that God has shown not only me, but allowed me to help other people learn from because of the pain. And so that's what He did in your life too. All of the pain, all of the years.
Yeah. Because when you're in pain, you feel like you're unheard, you're unseen, you're too much, you're too little, you're not enough, you're too broken. And even though all those things you might feel you are real, that's how you feel. But God's going to take all that pain of all those things you feel, and He's going to create your purpose out of that.
And make it beautiful.
And that's what's happened to me. And for 25 years, I've spent looking for this purpose. Why am I here? What am I doing? I love Johnny. I'm supporting him. But what I was looking in all the wrong places. I wasn't looking in my pain.
Well, that's because we try to avoid that part.
Yes.
We don't want to face it. We
Yeah.
want to run from it.
Well, now I face it,
Uh-huh.
and I want to hit it head on.
You don't know this, but when I do my live tonight, we're going to talk about that exact thing.
are
Yes, that's the message that God gave me for this week. I'll tell you about that after,
Okay.
but keep going.
And I just want to hit my purpose head on. And slowly, God has put things into my life to help me find that purpose. And I've learned from certain people in my life that incremental makes monumental. So if you do incremental things, one step at a time, one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 minute at a time, turns into monumental in the end.
It does.
And the monumental can be so big. If you just look at the monumental, you can't look at that. You have to look at the incremental, just one step at a time.
Right.
And the path of being incremental will lead you to your path of
It
monumental.
will. In God's time and in His way. And the whole purpose behind 31 Women, the reason that I'm doing this is because God told me to. And He didn't give me any grandiose answers to anything. He said, women are hurting, and they need to see other women just like them that are accomplishing things right where they're at, and letting me use them so that it will encourage other women to do the things that God has laid on their hearts to do. And so that's the whole purpose behind 31 Women. And that's the reason
It's
why
a
I
beautiful
reached
thing.
out. Well, that's why I reached out to you, because God, I'm not, y'all, I'm going to be really honest. I'm not smart enough to think of all of this stuff. I'm just tiptoeing through life trying to, have joy where I can find it and purpose where it comes. But God said, do this and do it this way. And here we are. So I think you can testify as well. God will lead you if you're willing to say, just like Isaiah said, here, my Lord, send me. So if you're willing to say, here I am, go ahead and use me, He'll show you one step at a time. He's not going to give you the whole big picture because you're not ready for it yet. You got to take the steps.
I was certainly not ready.
You got to take the steps, and you got to be consistent with it in order for God to prepare you to where He has for you to go. So tell me what God has laid on your heart in this day and in this season. So He's using your pain, and you're doing the incremental steps.
My purpose is to help women that feel broken and feel lost and feel like they don't matter when they do. So God started putting these in my mind to create this devotional for women, a 60-day healing devotional that takes you from one step to day 60 and helps you through the process.
Literal increments.
To help you process and takes you, because we get into these loops and we get into these loops of telling ourselves these things that aren't true. And so my devotion works through those loops and helps you get out of those loops one day at a time. And I have created a devotional, and I'm up to day 30. I'm still working on it. It'll be next year before I'm done. But this is the name of it. It's called Whispers of Worth, Beyond, Broken to Beloved and You Matter. And this will be out next year. And I plan to put it out on Facebook a little bit at a time, just a day here and a day there, to try to help women along the way. But that is my goal, is to just be the difference maker.
I love a devotional, and I especially love one that gives me practical steps on how I can move forward in my faith walk from day to day. And I don't know a single woman, y'all, I'm going to be really honest, I meet a lot of people and I go a lot of places. I do not know a single woman that does not experience some type of pain in her life and that does not battle these issues that you're talking about. We're inundated in our society with either we're too much or we're too little. Either we're too far gone or we're too broken for God, like what you have on here. Everywhere that I go, women are struggling with this everywhere. So let us encourage you. And then when your devotional does come out, y'all, I'll be stumping for her. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that now, that I'll be doing that for you, because I really believe in what you're doing. And I know that God spoke. Let me just also say this. None of us are sitting around here twiddling our thumbs. We're busy. We have things going on in our lives. But when the call of God comes and He says move, all we're doing is just saying, yes, Lord, we'll move. We'll obey. We'll do what you've given us to do. And it may be baby steps, but we're going to take the baby steps.
Incremental makes monumental.
Incremental makes monumental. I might get me a t-shirt that says that. I like that. I like it a lot. The way that God is much more plain spoken with me, and I've told y'all before, and I'll tell you again what He told me at the beginning of the year is use what you got. Just use what you got. And I argued with God, with the most holy that I am. I argued and said, I don't have anything. And He argued back and said, yes, you do. And here we are.
And you always need to remember, you're exactly where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. And you're enough because God said you were.
I agree with that. God's really done some healing in both of us. The word that God gave to me, and He's used several different women to bring this into my life. We as women do not understand when God created woman, He created a gift. And the woman was whole and complete the way that He made her, and He presented her, the first woman, to Adam as a gift. And we don't realize that, and I'm not going to preach that tonight, but that changes the trajectory of how we look at ourselves. And I'll probably preach that until the day that I die, because we don't view ourselves as a gift. We don't view ourselves as a Proverbs 31 woman. We don't look at ourselves and say, I do look well. We don't give ourselves any credit. I do look well to the ways of my household. I do take care of things. I do provide this, that, and the other for my household, and I do it on a daily basis. We don't do that. All we do is we look at what we don't have. And we can spend our entire lives doing that and never, ever get anywhere because we're so busy spinning our wheels. So I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
That you decided to step out on faith and walk in obedience and literally take those steps. Now, is this going to be a one and done, or has God already given you?
I don't know.
You don't know yet? Okay.
I will always minister this way. I just don't know how yet.
Okay.
But always remember, you are worthy and you are enough.
Yes. And in my case, my thing was always the opposite. I'm too much. I'm always too much. Everywhere that I go, I'm too much. Well, I finally embraced that, and you guys can love it or not, but I'm just going to be me. And, the Mad Hatter and Alice in Wonderland, I don't want to lose my muchness. I may be more muchier than I am now.
You were created with muchness for a reason. And that's to fulfill God's purpose.
I reckon so. Here we are. Well, until next time on 31 Women, Brenda, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. I will be letting you guys know when this Bible study comes out. I'll put it on my YouTube channel. We'll do a little advertisement for that. and on my Facebook, my Instagram, my TikTok, all over the place. So you guys stay tuned. You never know who's going to be here next on 31 Women. Don't forget to like, follow, share, and subscribe. 31 Women. Thank you, Brenda.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for paying attention, for watching, for participating in 31 Women. Remember, y'all, these are your stories. These are everyday women that are encouraging everyday women, because we think that we are not fulfilling what God has called us to do, but we are. Time and time and time again, I see women that are right where they're at. They're using what they've got, and they are allowing God to use them right where they are, which is what God has asked us to do. Whatever the gifts and talents are that He's given you, don't waste them, don't hide them, don't bury them. Use them right where you are and watch God do the rest, and He will. So until next time on 31 Women, thank you guys for watching, and you never know, I may be calling you next. 31 Women.